Is 2XKO the fighting game that finally balances accessibility with depth, or is it just another flashy brawler that looks good but won't keep players hooked? With the demo out, you can already see the mechanics, the roster, and how the tag system works, but does it all come together into something worth playing? 2XK is a 6-button fighter, but not in the way you might expect. Instead of sticking to traditional quarter-circle motions or half-circle inputs like you'd see in Street Fighter or Guilty Gear, the game is built around simplified controls. You've got 3 normal buttons, 2 special buttons, and a team button. On top of that, macros let you quickly do things like dashing, parrying, or using break. Now, that can feel both refreshing and frustrating. Refreshing because the game lowers the barrier to entry for newer players who just want to hop in and mash some buttons. Frustrating because there's no option for traditional motion inputs, and for players who love that old-school execution grind, it may feel a little unsatisfying. At first glance, all 9 demo characters kind of feel similar. Everyone can chain light, medium, heavy into a launcher, then jump up for an air combo. But the more you spend time with them, the more unique each character feels. Yasuo's high mobility, Blitzcrank's grappling nonsense, Ahri's mix-ups, Vi's brute force approach, each one eventually reveals a distinct identity. Riot clearly worked hard to make sure the roster isn't just copy-paste moves with different skins. The tag team mechanics add another big layer. You're not just picking fighters, you're building a synergy. That means experimenting with who works well together, figuring out assists, and setting up tag combos that look absolutely filthy when they land. There's also the fuse system, which basically acts like choosing a playstyle modifier. Want a single beefy character that can handle 2 opponents? Pick Juggernaut. Want to tag in and out constantly like Marvel vs. Capcom Chaos? Go Freestyle. Double supers, double assists, double active tags, it's your call. This freedom makes the game fun, but it also makes it overwhelming. You'll find yourself constantly trying new things, and a lot of the time, your experiments will actually work. That's cool. But at the same time, the control scheme doesn't always play nice with itself. Doing certain specials and assists at the same time can feel clunky, and there's a real chance of hitting the wrong button in the heat of battle. You'll eat combos not because you were outplayed, but because your thumb slipped. Speaking of combos, 2XKO loves them. The game is built for strings that can get pretty wild. They're not as long as old-school Marvel games where you can go grab a drink while your character is still getting juggled, but sometimes they push that line. Defensive tools like parries, breaks, push blocks, and fury are meant to balance this, but it also means you've got a huge bag of mechanics to juggle in every match. And yes, tutorials are massive. There's a whole list of mechanics to learn. Push blocks, multiple recoveries, parries, burst-like breaks, fury mode, and more. It's the kind of thing that'll scare off button mashers pretty fast. The pulse auto combos do help by letting beginners get into the fight, but those won't carry you for long. Turn them off, and suddenly the skill gap hits like a truck. The fury mechanic deserves special mention. It boosts damage, defense, and even gives you dash cancels. It feels amazing when you're the one popping off with it, but when your opponent activates it, it turns into a nightmare. It often feels like saving your burst isn't worth it until one of your characters is already dead, which isn't the healthiest design. So overall, the gameplay is fun, deep, and creative, but also a little bloated. You'll have fun experimenting, but expect to get cooked a lot while you're learning everything. This is where 2XKO really shines. The cel-shaded, animated look works perfectly for a fighting game. Every character is vibrant, with slick animations that make them feel alive. Riot nailed the transition from MOBA to fighter. These aren't just League skins slapped into a new game. They've been fully reimagined for a different genre. Yasuo dashes around with his wind abilities, stopping projectiles and summoning tornadoes. Blitzcrank's giant grab looks terrifying. Ahri's charm and flashy tails make her combos feel stylish. Every move is animated with care, and it's honestly impressive how much personality shines through. The art direction stays true to Runeterra but adapts it for fighting game readability. You won't lose your character in the chaos, and the effects pop without becoming distracting. It's a polished look, and for a beta, that polish is more than you'd expect. For a demo, there's a lot here already. You've got offline modes, which is a godsend for local tournaments or just casual play. No online check-ins, no nonsense. Every character, even locked ones, can be used in offline and training modes. That alone puts 2xKO ahead of some fighting games that nickel and dime you just to test characters out. The netcode is also a big deal. Fighting games live or die by online play, and 2xKO's rollback netcode works well from what's been shown. Online lobbies are functional and smooth, which is exactly what this game needs to thrive in the FGC. But here's the catch: the roster. Right now, you only have 9 characters. Even if Riot reveals one more, a 10-character roster for a tag fighter is tiny. Yes, every character looks great, feels distinct, and has tons of depth, but variety is still limited. If you're used to the buffet-style rosters of Marvel or Tekken, this feels more like a snack. The Fuse system helps by adding different playstyle options, but at the end of the day, you're still picking from the same pool of fighters. And if you don't vibe with the available lineup, you'll feel boxed in fast. Not everything clicks. The camera zoom during break is awkward. When both fighters are on screen, the perspective zooms way out, and it suddenly feels like you're squinting at ants. Movement feels weird until you get used to it, and it's easy to get caught off guard. The default button layout also feels clumsy. The team button is mapped to X or A, which makes it way too easy to accidentally call in your partner and eat a punish. Special buttons don't always feel natural either. Sure, you can remap them, but it's still a strange design choice out of the box. Finally, while the simplified controls make the game approachable, they also make some moves feel empty. Landing a half-health combo off a light, medium, heavy chain into super isn't the most satisfying thing. There are harder combos for those who want them, but the execution barrier is undeniably lower, which might leave veterans feeling underwhelmed. So is 2xKO worth playing based on the demo? The answer is yes. The good news, it's fun, creative, stylish, and packed with mechanics that give you room to experiment for hours. Characters look and feel great, the Fuse system adds unique layers of strategy, and the polish for a beta is impressive. The bad news, the roster is small, the control scheme can feel awkward, and the amount of mechanics may overwhelm casual players. Combos sometimes drag, and the camera quirks during break are still jarring. At the end of the day, 2xKO feels like a game that's worth keeping on your radar. If you're a fan of tag fighters or League of Legends, this has the potential to be something special. Just keep in mind that the demo shows a foundation that's solid but not perfect. Whether it becomes a long-term favorite depends on how Riot supports and expands it moving forward. So that's 2xKO. The demo shows a game with a lot of potential, some real standout features, but also a few things that still need ironing out. Whether it becomes a must-play depends on how Riot handles the roster, balance, and long-term support. For now, it's definitely worth keeping an eye on. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.